Hey everyone, welcome back to Learning Lords of Middle-earth, episode number 6. So, the strategy I want to introduce you to is... Oh, interesting. I didn't know they just called him Gandalf the Grey before you choose which kind of companion. That's fascinating. Anyway, I just wanted to introduce you to the strategy called the Gandalf Denial strategy. So, say the world starts like this. The Fellowship moves. Let's say they get hit and revealed, and it's a 1 reveal. So we're just going to assume that for... Yeah, okay, fine. It wants me to view a hand. Okay, so the Fellowship got hit with a 1 reveal. We'll just pluck one out. There you go. And they, are coming from the base version where you always want to lose Gandalf as quick as possible so you can get him to Gandalf the White. And they lose Gandalf early like that. An option that you have as a Shadow player, not only can you bring in the Chief... there he is. There's that Chief. So you can bring in the Chief, and you're up to 8 dice, and now they can't get Gandalf the White, because the Chief does not count as a minion for the purpose of playing Gandalf the White. So a strategy that Shadow players can do sometimes is just specifically not bring in any minions that let them get Gandalf the White, especially if they lose Gandalf inefficiently and quickly. So you can further make it even worse by not bringing Sauron to war. Because if you bring Sauron to war, then they can spend a muster die to at least bring in a different keeper. They can bring in Galadriel or Elrond, and they'll be replacing the Narya die that they just lost. But if you specifically avoid bringing Sauron to war, you can also still use a muster to bring in the Balrog. So you're up to 9 dice next turn. To be fair, one of those dice is the Balrog dice. That's certainly not as good as a regular die. And the Fellowship can't get off 4 dice. Not unless they muster all the elves all the way to war. Which, to be fair, you just brought in the Balrog, which does bring the elves a step closer to war. But it's a fun strategy that the Shadow could try for a while. And at the same time, you are still denying yourself a die with Saruman. And if you're spending like 4 turns with Sauron not at war, it's usually only like a couple turns that you would do this. If you're making it like to turn 5 or 6 and you still don't have Sauron at war, you're probably just slowing yourself down for no reason. But this is a fun strat that can, really leave the Free Peoples feeling at a steep dice disadvantage for a bit anyway. So as the Free Peoples, you can counter this by, mustering the elves to war early, or if you feel like it, you could crown Aragorn. That's still an option. Or consider keeping Gandalf because the Narya die is still pretty good. Sometimes I'll hang on to him until after Saruman has already come into play. But obviously, if it's like a 3 and it's a very convenient and efficient loss, then you'd still probably lose Gandalf anyway. But yeah, there's a strat to hum on. Thanks for tuning in. See you next time.